Everything's so gory. It's a bloodbath. It's gory. Gore. Blood and guts and gore.
I wish people could have seen the thing that you put together, though, that would have gotten us like age restricted. That was amazing.
Well, I was wondering how that works, so I went ahead and put it up on the dummy YouTube account. Of course, immediately got age restricted, so
We kind of
can't do
suck
that.
like that.
How's everyone doing out there tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing? Welcome, Christian.
Yes. Glad to be here.
For the very first time, we're making the deal because we spun the wheel and it picked Planet CHH.
I'll be a son of a bitch.
First
Can
time.
you believe that?
First time, and I think he was like the only one on the wheel that had never done the show, like on our channel. So that's kind of cool.
That's God right there.
That is God. That's fate and destiny. Whatever you want to say.
So yeah, I mean, this show tonight, like, it was a lot more difficult doing this list, and that's what I was telling the guys before we started, than I thought it would be. Because as a kid, like, that was all that I wanted to see in these movies. I wanted the goriest, the most graphic. And thinking back at it, I'm like, well, which one's what? Because that's not really anything that I mean, it's cool that it's there, but it's nothing that I really look for in horror movies nowadays, it seems like.
Yeah, I kind of feel the exact same way as you. When you first get into horror and you see some of this blood and guts and gore, you're like, oh, this is awesome. Like, let me find more of this. And then, you know, now that I get older, like, I really don't care if it's in there and it's a good movie, like, cool. But to just try to find stuff that's super gory and it's not something I search for. So there's a lot of movies that I'm sure we're probably not going to cover tonight that a lot of people that are really, really into that stuff are going to be like, oh, well, you forgot about this, because I just don't know. Like, I'm not that far into that type of horror. So therefore there is going to be a lot of stuff I'm going to definitely not talk about. And I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
I gotta see where the wind blows tonight, you know, because I'm winging it tonight. I've certainly got things I can bring up, but, you know, I'll just leave it at that for now.
I think there's a lot of stuff too that some of the younger audience out there has never seen, that has still not been re-released. Like, there's one in particular one that Uncle Bill has looked for all evening, and it's a very, very valuable box set. He was trying to show it on here, but he couldn't find it. Somebody stole it from him.
Probably you.
Maybe it was me.
I would say it was you.
If it was me,
Yeah,
I sold it a long fucking time ago.
So a long time ago, I trying to, is it Unearthed that put that out? I'm trying to remember.
It was one of the very first Unearthed Films releases. Yeah.
Yeah, they put out a box set of the guinea pig films, which were the films that Charlie Sheen called the FBI on and tried to get like a whole investigation started and all that. I used to own that. I have no idea where it's at now. It's boxed up somewhere with a ton of other shit. So who knows? But in saying that, like, I know there's going to be people on here that are wanting to get into like Japanese, like extreme gore and shit like that. I don't really know that much about that. So if that's your thing, then like bring it up. But the Flowers of Flesh and Anal and all, whatever that stuff is.
Great movie.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's not mine.
Well, how about you, Christian? Are you big into that, or do you only bring it to a certain level of what you're picking up when it comes to gore and all that stuff?
I don't outwardly search for it, but if a movie catches like The Sadness, for instance, caught my attention last year, and that was pretty gory. There was a scene, spoiler alert, where one guy, it's like Asian Evil Dead, but like kind of they're not really scared to go there, because there's a scene in that movie where one of the guys is like, he's like evil possessed, and this one girl is on her knees and her eyeball falls out of the socket, and without saying a word, you gather that he wants to fuck her eye hole, and he does. And like, yeah. So that's a pretty gory movie.
By the way,
the first thing I thought of too. I mean, when I saw
it was
that's
amazing.
One of the best Cannibal Corpse albums. Fuck her eye hole. That's right up there.
Come Blood.
Yeah. I Come Blood and Hammer Smash Face. Hammer Smash Ass.
In the chat too, if you have movies you want to throw out there, because We may need some help with this one, guys. I don't know what you're thinking, but I've got like a stack over here.
No, we ain't gonna need any help. I mean, there's
Well,
gonna
Uncle
be.
Bill's ready, but have you got this one on there? This is one I didn't think of. This is Bradley Taylor. The goriest, most brutal film I've seen is I Spit on Your Grave from 1978.
I don't think that's gory though.
Well, a man's Peter gets cut off in the bathtub, Uncle Bill.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I have that on my list. I have Last House. I have Spit on Your Grave, and then I have a question mark, like because I wasn't sure how far we were going to go down that road. And the Last House, I actually think I would think that the remake is more gory than the original for Last House on the Left. And it seems like if you want to kind of start down that road, it seemed like for a while that's what was happening is these remakes were really just trying to up the old ones by adding a lot more gore and brutality to them. So you can start throwing things like, you look at Rob Zombie's Halloween and you look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the remakes that came out around that time in the 2000s, they definitely upped the gore aspect of it. And I think it was to really just try to gauge that fan base of the original, but to kind of almost amp it up like times 10.
You know what else they upped, Garrett? You know what else they upped?
Here we go.
They upped the stupidity level on that fucking shit too.
I thought you were going to tell people to give us a thumbs up, baby. So yeah, we got a lot of people in chat already, over 100 plus people. Roll call real quick here. Tabata Vision, your guy's buddy.
Boy. Yeah.
Jostradamus 75, Don Wilk 91, Shane Kickmiller, baby. That's a new name I haven't heard before. Beyond the Realms, Subjective Perspective Collective, Death Metal Elitist, Saturn Video, Distorted Visions, Alan Stanley, Pat Master. That's a new one too.
I think that's one of my boys.
Oh, okay.
Pat Master.
Pat Master, baby. J7 Flesher, Wonder This World 97, Ice Bowie, Slaughtered Vomit Dolls, brother.
Hell yeah. He wants to hear about the gore.
Torture, puke porn, man. Regurgitated sacrifice, dude. So,
yeah, Hogan cutting a promo about those movies.
Let me tell you something, Lucifer Valentine, brother. I've not watched those movies at all, and I don't know if I ever will, but we want to do like a special on that guy at some point, as long as we don't have to watch the movies, because he's gotten, like, if you look on YouTube, there's a lot of allegations from people that were in those movies, and I don't know, it's a good Tragedies in Tinseltown episode at some point, Uncle Bill, as long as we don't have to watch those movies. That might be something we could do.
think we should watch them. If we're going to do it, we need to research all that stuff. I mean, I hear there's some great scenes. One of Garrett's favorite films. We all know that.
Make Garrett watch it live.
What am I watching live this time?
It'd be Slow Torture Puke Chamber.
No, I'm good.
Just
I
name.
I think I was good with that other one there that we watched.
I'll get the 4K though.
We're gonna make Mel watch it with us too, live.
She'd probably like it. She'd probably like it more than I would.
She'll be laughing. That's the comedy of the year.
It's like a comedy. And the best
might make it better somehow, actually.
Steve Peekaboo's in here past his bedtime. Garrett is going to watch a Serbian film on Easter, but you didn't. He said you were going to, but you didn't. What happened?
No, of course I'm not going to watch. I don't think I'm ever going to watch it. That and what's the other one there? That's just as Salo. I'm not watching that either. Never seen it. Probably never will. Ebola Syndrome was fine.
Ebola Syndrome was just stupid, really. I to me, that wasn't offensive at all. That movie wasn't.
It was all right. I thought it was going to be worse.
Yeah, that was great, though.
Last House on Dead End Street's another one that's kind of hard to find unless you know which disc Vinegar Syndrome has it on. It's kind of a... But I don't know if I've ever seen that movie, actually. Have you guys seen it?
I have that... remember that double disc DVD that was like sought after for a long time?
Yeah.
That's the one. That's what I have. I don't have the Vinegar Syndrome one.
Garrett, have you ever seen the August Underground films? Please tell me that you have.
When I was I had a friend, his name was Colin, and he was really into a lot of that stuff. So I always get confused with August Underground and Toe Tag. he was really into that stuff. So I've seen some, but I'm not sure exactly which one was which. It was something, either one of those two.
Well, there's one that was a Christmas one, right? Which one was that one?
That
was
I
set
think
around
was
Christmas?
Mortem.
Okay. Yeah.
I got to see these. You look great. It's like shot on video stuff.
Yeah.
It's shot
Well,
on video.
Those
Dude,
are
it looks
getting re-released soon.
That looks like dynamite, man.
Yeah, someone's putting out the August Underground stuff, I think.
I think Unearthed Films is bringing them out on. I mean, they're shot on video, but they're Blu-rays, so it is what it is.
I'll get those. I love that kind of stuff.
I mean, they are interesting for a one-time watch. We reviewed them back when we didn't really know what they were. So, like,
Do you remember the story behind that too that Fred Vogel told, where he would like just drop those off? I don't know if it was a DVD or what. He would just drop them off at random places, just so people would like find them and think that they were snuff films.
With the first one, his plan was to just leave them in random spots in New York City. But 9/11 happened, and he didn't want to do that. So I think, like, I don't know if he did the sequels that way or left them in like Goodwill stores or something for people to get, or
that's even better,
like that. Yeah, yeah,
that's so funny.
But yeah, I mean, he's kind of like stepped away from those movies, which is interesting because like the toe tags, like the website and stuff is still up, but those movies haven't been on sale or for sale in years. So a lot of people, yeah, I'm sure will be interested because the August Underground thing, man, back in the early to mid 2000s, that was a pretty huge fan base. People were getting August Underground tattoos, and it's almost like a cult.
It's like the ECW of what it looks like.
It really was. Yeah.
Same fan base, I'm sure, too.
Yeah, I mean, Toe Tag did a few, like I think Jeremy Cruz, who did all the makeup effects and stuff, went on to do some pretty big movies in California, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, but guys,
I have an idea though about
what
this.
You got?
Why don't we do like an iceberg type of situation? Like, let's start with like the tamest kind of stuff and just like work up from there. So like, we could
one that's kind of gory,
yeah, kind of gory, but like not insane. So shit.
Well, like there's movies that like aren't like overtly gory throughout, but they have specific scenes, right? Like you can look at Day of the Dead where it's really not that crazy, but the ending. So I don't know if you balance it out that way to say it's a little gory as opposed to just that one scene being really over the top.
That would be where I would start. I would probably start with Day of the Dead.
I was going to say Day of the Dead is definitely in that realm. And another one I have written here, I don't know if you guys have this one, but do you want to talk about Day of the Dead at all, or did he cover it long enough?
Oh, I hope to God everybody's seen Day of the Dead. It's watching this.
Surely. Yeah. You would think. But yeah, I mean, I think that was 1985 Day of the Dead. It was kind of at the peak. To me, there was a peak in the 80s for like the practical makeup effects and stuff. And Day of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead, movies like that around that time period. And there's actually another one that I've got here. It's around that same time frame. But I think it got up to a certain level there and it looked so great. And then they started using the computer generated shit like in the early 90s, and it just kind of went to hell.
Now, what do you guys think of these? I had these on my like maybe list because I wasn't sure if it was going to fit what we were talking about, but something like Society, which isn't necessarily gory with blood, but it's craziness. Like
to me, it's like the definition of gore because like the whole end sequence is just one giant special effect, really. Just everything kind of meshing together
and spontaneous combustion as well.
It's like because the word gore sounds like gross to me, so that's why it's funny. Because Society, I kept thinking about that movie all fucking day.
Yes,
which I love. That's probably my favorite Brian used in a film, and so I constantly kept thinking of Society all day, and the butthead.
It's one of those movies that when you see it, it totally sticks with you because it's unlike any other film. Like I don't know any other movie like that, where like that has that kind of just craziness for like 20 minutes straight.
You want to hear something funny about Society? When I first saw that, the the main dude, I don't know his name offhand, but my mother growing up was obsessed with General Hospital, so like my whole childhood was like revolved around that damn soap opera. That kid, the main kid in society was in that soap opera. So like I was so drawn to that movie when I first saw it. I was like, what the hell? That's like AJ Quartermain's like in this freaking movie. And then like I just loved Society ever since. But it was just always funny to me that dude was like the same dude that was in General Hospital when I was a kid growing up.
Billy Warlock.
Okay, yeah. That's so wild.
I wanted to bring this up too, because this to me is like the independent, kind of like a combination of street trash and Society that nobody ever talks about anymore, but this is a great like film. Do you remember this one?
Oh, dude, Slime City. Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen that, but yeah, I do remember it.
Look at this guy's got it signed and shit.
Yeah,
wow.
It's signed by the director. That's how awesome I am. Fucking Gregory Lamberson.
Now that's another one that may be kind of hard to find now. Did they do a re-release of that, or
not that I know of? No, that's the one I have right there too.
If anybody likes street trash, Slime City would be like right up your alley, because it's basically exactly like street trash and a little bit of Society mixed together, but it's like a lower budget even than that, really.
One from the kind of mid to late 80s as well. That's probably, I mean, it's got some great gore scenes in it, but it's probably not full of gore. And oddly enough, like the only other edition I have of this is in a puzzle box. We're talking about the original Hellraiser.
Oh yeah,
Clive Barker, baby. And I didn't really even think about this movie being too gory until I introduced it to my wife when we were dating, and she would just looked at me like I was a fucking serial killer or something. Wasn't?
Yeah,
she's like, "This is disgusting."
I love that too so much. The bed scene in 2 is fucking gross. When the Julia comes out of it, and
yeah, there's all kinds of ooey and gooey scenes in the first couple of movies. The actor Andrew Robinson, when he gets the hooks and shit on his head, and it just kind of rips him apart. There's all kinds of stuff like that in these movies.
And that looks like that, like the skin stuff in that one. It doesn't look like good practical effects. It looks like that almost crude, cheap Italian gore, like the skin.
It does
in that movie. Yeah. It has that cheap, weird Italian look, which I like.
Yeah,
you know,
it's too light. That's part of it too. The color is too light, and it kind of like just moves too much.
It's got a charm to it, though.
It does. Yeah.
I think the grossest thing in that movie is Uncle Frank looking totally dead, smoking a cigarette. Like, you son of a bitch, you're gonna smoke a cigarette looking like that? You got no fucking skin. You son of a bitch.
I would love to know like what the makeup appliances were back then, making him look like that. That is so like sick looking.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
And
for
it
the
still
time
holds
period.
up.
Yeah,
too,
87.
Really. Yeah.
And then he sliced a rat while they're having sex. That's pretty nasty.
You never done that? You never cut up a rat while you
sliced it long
that makes it even
better.
better.
Flipped it. Flipped the bag off.
That's what you do.
So what do you guys got? Let's go.
I mean, I've got whatever you want.
I put Cabin Fever on my list, and I could think that could probably be like that tamer category, because it's not all gory, but when there is gore, it's pretty gory.
Yeah, and it's good gore too. I mean, I'll give them credit there. It looked good.
So if we're gonna bring up Eli, then I thought about Hostel for this, and I was like, I don't like. Yes,
it's gory.
It's gory. That's basically all it is. Like, that was the whole point of the whole thing, really. So
well, then we have to go with this, right?
What is Green Inferno?
I've never seen that.
That movie just pisses me off.
That's the working man's Cannibal Holocaust. Like, well, not the working man's. That's like the American safe version of Cannibal Holocaust. I like it, but it's like you show that to normal people instead of Cannibal Holocaust.
It's still sealed. Garrett hasn't watched his.
No, I've seen it. I saw it, and I wasn't actually planning on buying this on the Blu-ray, but I saw it really cheap on Amazon one day, and it had the slipcover, so I was like, I'll get it. But I haven't seen it again because it pissed me off too. Actually, I didn't mind it. I liked what he was going for, but like when he started adding comedy to it, I was like, like it just kind of, I just got kind of pissed at it. Like with the they're getting stoned or whatever. Like when
Yeah.
the smoke was like coming out of their body when they were getting eaten or whatever, and like the cannibals were getting stoned over it or something. I was like, come on. Like
They're
I just
getting
was, like,
hungry
ridiculous.
now. Oh shit!
Why didn't he
There-
just call it Cannibal Holocaust? I don't understand. Like he
Well,
remade Cannibal Holocaust.
Basically, but I mean, Green Inferno's kind of a take on that. That's the what? That was the movie title in the. There is what's Green Inferno? It's something in Cannibal Holocaust, right?
Yeah,
it's
that's
the-
true.
It's the name of the jungle, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Like,
think
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Green Inferno.
Then again, you can't have the word Holocaust in a movie in
Yes,
2007 either.
That is true.
You know,
That is true.
There is one scene from that movie that always stayed with me, and that's where like the big guy gets cut up, like into all the little pieces, and then his like tongue gets cut out, and his eyeballs get gouged. I mean, that's always stayed with me. I don't remember anything else about that movie, but I do remember that. So
yeah.
Well, being on this topic of cannibals, do you want me to start throwing stuff out there that people are gonna be excited for me to show? So, like, if I do this,
Oh God.
I've got an entire
baby.
cannibal segment, boys.
I love that movie.
because,
you do?
dude, for a long time, that movie was very difficult to find. Right. So that's that's the DVD, right? From
yeah, this is from Grindhouse.
I think that's the first official DVD that came out.
I've got what Uncle Bill's got.
The early days of DVD for me, I was looking for something I rented as a kid, and I didn't know the name of it. I just remembered what happened in it.
Oh,
It was this tape, and I ended up searching just Cannibal movie or whatever, and stumbled across. I've still got it because it's autographed, man. A bootleg copy of Cannibal Holocaust.
Hell yeah.
And I watched it by myself the first time, and then I was like, "This isn't the fucking movie. What? This is totally different." And I actually really love the movie quite a bit. And I think I showed it to Uncle Bill like probably the next day. I was like, "You got to check this out," because I think I really do. I think it's a classic, actually. And some of the stuff that's in it, I don't know if this was maybe the first one that used real pig guts and shit like that.
Man,
I
don't know the ins and outs of it. I
Blood
watched it.
Feast and stuff like that. I don't know what they used, like the Herschel Gordon Lewis
Wizard
stuff.
of Gore. Yeah, they may have done that in some of the early stuff.
Here's the thing about that movie, though, about Cannibal Holocaust. To me, it's like the most convincing of any of the found footage films. Like, it just seems like everything you're watching seems real. Like, there's nothing about it that seems fake at all. Still to this day, which is crazy.
I love it. It's weird. I guess I'll just get this started. I'll bring this up because I no offense, like Garrett, nobody. I don't understand why people don't want to watch fucked up stuff like Serbian Film. I love that movie, but people won't watch it, and I don't understand it. It's so over the top hysterical to me. I think the reputation is actually probably a lot worse than what the movie actually is. I really do.
Because you're Christian Hannah Horror, so of course you're gonna.
No, but seriously, like
he's playing at CHH now.
I mean,
I'm just a little rad guy.
It's just like the fact that, spoiler alert, but the fact that he gives birth to a baby and then has sex with it is so over the top. I don't know how you don't just laugh at it. Nobody clipped this, but like, it's so fucking over the top. I don't know. Because I wanted to mention that movie, but I'm assuming I'm the only one that's seen it. Somebody's got to watch that. Somebody has to.
You are the only one here that's seen that movie, I think.
I've got it. I'll fucking watch it.
Please watch it, dude. Here's the truth. It's actually a really well-made movie. Like, it's not like a snuff. It's like they used expensive cameras, actors. It's a movie. And that was the other thing I thought.
You guys can watch it.
Yeah, Mel watches it.
Yeah.
It's so over the top. He takes bull strength. Yeah.
Here's an idea. When you do that thing coming up this weekend, it's this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. You got to everybody gets together, watches a Serbian film, and fucking reviews it.
There you go. Commentary.
So do you all own it? You just never watched it?
I don't own it.
I don't own it now.
I've got it. Yeah, I've got the Blu-ray of it.
I put it this way: I've only watched Cannibal Holocaust once in my life. It's when I got.
We need to rewatch it. Then we need to do that commentary.
My uncle praised it for so long, and I always took his word on everything. So of course I bought this and I watched it, and I was like, you're messed up, man. And like, I wouldn't, that freaking turtle scene, man. Like, I was like, I can't with this thing.
Oh, I love that.
And then this one, this one is just as freaking bad. It was like, I felt
it
bad.
might be a little bit worse in some
Ferox
scenes.
is great.
They both got some Peter chopping in them, right?
So yeah, and that was another one I bought on his recommendation. I was like,
just a reminder, I watched this when I was like 13 years old and I didn't know what the fuck it was.
What label is that? Is that like some kind of boutique VHS label from back in the day?
Thriller Video. It's Gorgon Entertainment or something.
That's
like
cool.
That. Did those? So yeah, I mean they did them those big porn tapes.
I know.
Yeah,
I want to get more of those.
Jesus, the booby hook scene in that was the one that got me. Like that's one that's missing from any other cannibal film.
Well, both movies have like real animal deaths and stuff in it.
Oh yeah,
and like they worded it on the front too. Like it was like you're going to watch something you really shouldn't have. Like warning, banned in 31 countries. And like a big warning label on the back
those are rookie numbers. We got to bump those up.
So that was my introduction to Italian horror for sure.
Hell yeah. Just dive in the deep end.
I've got one that's since it's Easter just recently happened, right? So and this one I thought of this one because this is probably the goriest. Yes. Because this is probably the last crazy gory movie that I'd seen in theaters where I was like, I cannot believe I'm watching this with a church group. I was like 24 years old. I don't know if it's technically a horror movie, but it's gory as fuck and it's The Passion.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
I thought it said on the thing, it said Goriest horror movies, didn't it? Is that horror?
This is horror. I mean, hell.
It is gory.
It's definitely gory, but that was one of the weirdest experiences ever because my parents' church rented the movie theater out at the time. And I was like, yeah, I'll go and because everyone was talking about it. It had a big buzz. And I was just fucking captivated. I was like, they got away with, how did they get away with this? And regular everyday churchgoers, are watching it.
Well, for that matter, I mean, if you're going to bring up shit that I thought about this one too, and it's not really horror, but it's fucking disturbing as all hell. Has anybody seen this?
Fuck yes.
No, I never seen it.
I mean, there's scenes in this movie. There's scenes in this movie that are more disturbing than anything in any of these cannibal movies that I've seen, because they really seem, like I said, like a lot of rape, sexual stuff, like a lot of gore in it that actually looks realistic, which is crazy because it's not even like really a horror film at all. But that would be one that I would definitely put on there, as well as The Passion of the Christ, of course. There's no way that YouTube is not flagging this video, by the way.
Yeah, it's definitely down.
Go ahead and leave this up on yours, though.
Super chat so they can make some money.
I'll do my best. Yeah. It's not horror, but I had Kill Bill on my list as well as being super gory. If we were going to kind of get into non-necessarily horror movies. And this one over here, I would say this is horror, but I don't know what it's considered. But this was freaking awesome, guys. And I don't know if you guys checked this out before.
Oh, fucking classic.
I had that, Garrett. I had that on my list. Yeah.
That's a great
this movie. Is so freaking good. And it's scary as hell, man. And it's gory. And I don't know if you would consider this horror, but I definitely do, because this thing was intense, man. It's I was very shocked by that movie.
That scene where he's talking to him, like he's talking to the deputy or whatever, and he's like, I just want to let you know that, like, I'm going to get them all for you, and then he's just getting like hacked in half and all that shit. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I've never seen that, but I've heard all kinds of people talk about it. So
I will
have to check
wild.
it out.
It's wild.
I'll tell you another one. I don't own it, but I wish I did. And it's gory as all hell too, and great. And I think it may be by the same director as Brawl and Cell Block.
Oh yeah, that's a good,
dude.
Yeah, good movie.
Vince Vaughn is a bad motherfucker in that.
That's a great film too. Especially the ending with the. I don't want to give it away, but like, there's some great gore in the ending of that movie too.
Dude, the funny thing about that was right when I got a 4K player, and I was pissed off at the cost of them. So like, that was the first 4K movie I got because it was just really cheap, and I wanted to get a movie on 4K. And I remember getting that movie, and I was like, "Oh, it's a Vince Vaughn straight-to-video movie. What am I doing?" And then that movie kicked my fucking ass, dude.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Punisher Warzone. I do remember that one being really violent. I don't know, not really. Was it gory though? I remember it being pretty extreme.
Is it brutal and badass?
It was brutal, dude, and badass.
You know, what was gory was RoboCop was very gory for its time. A lot of those 80s action movies were super gory. And you can even look at the Rambos, and even the newer Rambos are pretty gory as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Oh, dude, Rambo 4 is the second best one to me, too.
RoboCop was insanely gory.
Yeah.
Just to be like an action film.
Yeah, and the Rambos, yeah.
Rambo ripped the dude's neck off in 4. Just grabbed it and ripped it off with his bare hands.
Have Inside on their list?
I knew this was going to get brought up. Yeah. That and Martyrs, I have them, but I didn't bring them to the table. But they're on my list right here because I knew that they were going to get brought up. I mean, that's not like really my jam. I've only watched them like once each. So,
well, you need to watch them again.
Martyrs is fucking nuts.
Oh, I've got the Blu-ray or I've got the DVD. Yeah, Martyrs might be one of my favorite. Like,
there was a girl that I work with that asked if I'd seen Martyrs, and I know she was talking about that fucking remake. And I was like, no, I haven't seen. I've seen the original one though. And she's like, well, what do you mean? So I think the original was like what, 2007, 2008. And she's one of them that goes on all those illegal sites and stuff at work and watches this shit at work. And I was like, put that one on for about the first 10, 15 minutes. You'll get a good idea of what that is. And then she messaged me back a little bit later and was like, oh my God.
Well, there were 3 films those French extreme films that were put out that were all amazing, man. Inside. Well, I was going to say Inside, Martyrs, and I was going to say Frontiers, but High Tension I would include in there.
High Tension probably started it.
That was the movie I didn't have the others, Martyrs, but High Tension I had going through my head to bring up. I love that movie.
Oh, I love it too.
We saw that in the theater, man. When it came out,
they had that one in Pikeville in the theater.
You're kidding?
Yeah, and we were like the only ones in there. I think there may have been one other guy in there or something. And we had just heard the buzz about it because I guess it had been released overseas in like 2003. This was around 2004. Man, like that's an intense freaking movie, especially towards the end of it too, with the little saw thing, and it's just it's raining blood towards the end, you know.
It was very unique for its time too. It was something different. Like as much as people like, oh, you know, the twist was kind of shitty, whatever. It was unique for its time for sure.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I think there's one scene where the guy takes like he breaks the dad's head off or something in between the steps, and that's like the first big surprising, like. And there's like a scene too where a decapitated head was given the guy head.
Yeah, that was like right at the beginning of the movie. I think that was like the first thing you saw. Yeah,
maybe that was what it was. And I was like, I remember looking over at Aaron and I was like, what in the fuck? This is in a movie theater.
Oh God.
Rob Zombie's in the house.
Fat Rob Zombie. I am a natural creep to bologna sandwich of American cheese. Ow!
Or hummus and hummus.
Ow!
What the fuck?
Well, free from hell, goddamn!
In the trash. In the fucking trash.
Look at the fucking picture there.
You know what though? I will say, House of 1,000 Corpses should be on this list somewhere. That was a pretty gory movie indeed.
Somebody, I think it was Antonis, the 20th anniversary. He was asking about that too.
Mine's on its way. It's supposed to be here tomorrow.
Same. I really don't need it, but I'm just a stupid son of a bitch. I got no problem admitting it.
You know,
I've
always said this, and I'm sure it's going to get a 4K at some point, and I know Wes agrees with me, but House of 1,000 Corpses, the Blu-ray that came out, that was like one of my first Blu-rays. I think that and Lost Boys were my first 2 Blu-rays. That thing looks so freaking good, man, on Blu-ray. It's insane to me. Yeah. House of 1,000 Corpses, and I mean, I'm surprised we didn't get a 4K, but man, I'll take another edition of that thing because The only one I have is that one that came out like right when Blu-rays, hit the market.
Yeah, I think that may have been one of the first movies that was shot digitally or something. There's something the way it's shot, because even on Vudu, I was watching it the other day. Like, it just looks freaking amazing.
Yeah. That's before Rob got in his head, hey, I need to make my movies look cheap and like shit.
Yeah.
Can he shot Devil's Rejects on 16, which 16's cool, don't get me wrong. But yeah, House of Corpses clearly is, to me, the better looking film. Visually, it's awesome with all the colors. Not like the Munsters, like palatable colors,
Was
it
Free from Hell was awesome though. I was really stoked about Free from Hell.
That was shot with an iPhone.
Yeah, that was shot with old 8mm, I'm pretty sure.
Jim brought up Killer Goats. Did you guys watch that by any chance?
Not yet.
Got it. Did you watch it?
Oh, it sucks. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
not good.
I was hoping I could stream it.
Not good. I mean, there's hot chicks in it. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's lame. Like, they just basically beat the shit out of the slasher guy the whole time. Basically, Kane Hodder just gets his ass kicked by all.
Oh, so it's like Halloween Ends.
Basically, yeah. And like the dialogue is so bad. Like, it's really.
I'm back in. I'm just kidding.
What about the Final Destination movies? Nicholas Day was asking about those, the franchise.
Yeah,
they had some good moments for sure.
Oh, come on, you know that shit.
Well, this is the big wig right here, pretty much. There's a couple big wigs on this list, and obviously Dead Alive is one. For sure.
I kept thinking about Maniac all day, because there's some pretty crude shit in that when he's putting the girls scalps on top of on the mannequin dolls. It's just weird. But yeah, Maniac's my favorites.
That movie's uncomfortable because of Zito. Like,
he's so good at that role.
He's just uncomfortable to watch. He's all sweaty throughout the whole thing. He's just overweight. He's
not really acting either. That's him. I get the impression that that's just him.
He's just, every scene, he just looks like he's just a nervous wreck, and it just makes it even better.
He's got constant beer sweats.
Yeah. Meat sweating like throughout the whole
sweats.
thing. God.
What I always thought was funny too, wasn't he like close friends with Sylvester Stallone as well?
Yes, they were.
That
was
his mob boss.
He was in Rocky, but he was in Nighthawks too. I noticed he was in that, and I was like, well, Stallone must have just like put him in a bunch of shit through that period of time.
Them Italians stick together, dude.
Yeah, wasn't he in what's the one where Stallone was like his brother was like the wrestler? What was that one?
Paradise Alley.
I think he was in that too, I believe. For some reason, I think I remember him in that.
But I thought about Maniac 2 just because, I mean, it had some good Savini stuff in it, and just the way it was done was kind of disturbing too. I don't know if I would go with Hobo.
We gotta give Tim Ritter some love, boys. Somebody's talking about killing his
Tim Ritter. I'm not listening. I'm gonna go that far down. But I did. Speaking of independent films, though, I did think about this one. When I was thinking about like gory independent horror films, this is about as independent as it got back in the day. And Sam Raimi actually helped finance this one, so it's actually got some pretty decent effects.
Yeah, heavily inspired by Dawn of the Dead, of course, and it's J.R. Bookwalter's best movie by far.
There's not even anything close, really.
He made it when he was like 15 or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that was a big deal when that thing came out. Was that Anchor Bay, right, that did that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's out on Blu-ray now, I'm pretty sure, but I just have the DVD.
It's not shot on video though. It's shot on film. It's like 8mm or something like that. It's not that great of a movie, but some of the effects and stuff in it, especially considering he was like a teenager at the time, it's pretty amazing.
Oh, somebody brought up Crazy Fat Ethel. Hold on.
He's got it. He got it.
One time.
The original. Crazy Fat Ethel.
Yeah, this is even before it was called Crazy Fat Ethel. This was called Criminally Insane, but it's AKA Crazy Fat Ethel.
What was the tagline? That might have been the sequel. It's something like "Nothing gets between Ethel and the refrigerator" or something.
Yeah. Like that. In this one, it's 250 pounds of maniacal fury. That's the tagline. But I still like. She's crazy. She's fat. She's Ethel.
Has that ever got a re-release, like a newer version of that?
I think so, yeah. I think it actually did. Amazing.
Sad and video, baby. He's asking about the thuckling, daddy. I've never seen it. I've never seen the thuckling, but it looks really cheesy.
It's fucking terrible. I'm one of those idiots that used to just buy all the Vinegar Syndrome titles because I thought they looked cool.
Is it as good as Hobgoblins?
Dude, it's better than Hobgoblins.
Just
the premise of suckling is hysterical. It's an abortion that gets thrown down a drain but survives and turns into a monster. Like that's what the suckling is. And the name of the abortion clinic is Bad Mama Juju or something. So, I mean, it's not good. It's better than Hobgoblin.
So Republicans made that, right?
Republicans made the suckling. This is what you get.
You get this fucking baby out of the drain. Yep. It's like a PSA.
Annie Lee's Meat Pies. I still haven't watched that. I have it, but it's in a long.
I haven't seen it either.
Pile of stuff that I need to watch.
Pieces.
I've got
I have that over here.
Exactly what you think it is.
You don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre, boss. I just want to do these movies in general because these were kind of dare movies when we were kids.
I know what's coming.
The mid to late 80s, early 90s. And I actually have a couple of the VHS tapes. These were dares back in the day. They were not in Blockbuster Video either. These were in like the mom and pop stores. This movie was banned in 46 countries. And it is on Blu-ray. There's a Blu-ray of this, but this is the original VHS of Faces of Death. And it's my favorite. This is one of my favorite VHS covers of all time. Faces of Death Part 2.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, I remember those back in high school. There was always like that one kid in school who had those, and everybody would like go to his house to like check it out.
But like the original Faces of Death had a lot of stage stuff in it, the first movie, but then after that they started, using a lot of like Traces of Death used all like authentic death footage.
Those are the ones I remember just because they were so like fucking crazy. And it always had like Cannibal Corpse ripoff bands. There might even been Cannibal Corpse doing the soundtrack.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was the mini Faces of Death, Death Faces. There's all kinds of like spin-off versions. But yeah, essentially like all it is gore. It's not really a movie. It's just scene after scene of death or gore or sex changes later on. There's the Bud Dwyer tape. I don't know if you guys know what that one is. That was on one of those.
No.
The politician?
He was a politician that kind of blew his brains out.
On TV.
On TV, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy shit.
Wow.
Shout out Live Leak. That's where I saw that.
I never seen that.
Leak. That's real. I think he was innocent. I've seen documentaries on Bud Dwyer. Years later, like there was more investigations, like independent investigations. I think he was innocent of like some big, I forgot if it was like some money laundering thing or something, but I think he killed himself so his family could somehow get money. I forgot why he did it. Something about money for his family. But dude, he blew his brains out right on stage in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Pulled a gun out of a manila folder and just let it rip, dude.
Was he did he already get convicted and was going to jail? Is that what it was?
It was the last stand for him. And it was this final press conference he called.
Wow.
Cameraman said, fuck it, I'm gonna shoot it. And so when he shoots himself, the camera pans down right to him. And
it's like a faucet of blood.
It's crazy shit.
It's very disturbing, that footage. Garrett, you probably don't want to watch it.
Sid leg break was about as far as I'm going.
There was shit in some of those though that was to me was even worse. Like there's one where somebody's like diving and they come back up and they're like missing an arm. You got bit off by like a shark, and somebody was recording that.
Damn.
And it was just like different shit like that where you're like, I probably don't need to be seeing this. Like car accidents and stuff like that.
As those tapes went on, I mean, they kind of got more and more graphic because they had like, I don't know how many Faces of Death there were, but there were like a gazillion Traces of Death and many Faces of Death, stuff like that. They went on for years and years and years.
Anyway, those were the good old days, Traces.
Hell yeah.
Oh
yeah,
no,
it's
Tony,
like the Halloween nightmare.
Tony, you moron.
If I super chat $100, will Garrett watch MD Pope?
MD Pope. What the fuck? What's that?
I guess we'll find out, because if you do that, he'll watch it.
It's a Lucifer Valentine movie that we don't know about.
Well, make sure you go on my channel at Born2BeRad when you super chat that 100. And then,
No,
I haven't thought of
then we'll talk.
Rotten.com in many years.
Yeah.
You guys remember Rotten?
I do
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that.
It may still be up. I'm not sure. So what else you guys got? Uncle Bill, pull one from your stack there.
I don't think we could go through this without mentioning these, because these kind of like freaked everybody out when they came out.
Oh yeah.
The Human Centipede and the Human Centipede 2.
I'm a fan of the first one for sure. I like the first one.
I agree. I think the first one was kind of very unique. The second one was just kind of like they tried to take it up like 10 notches, and it just didn't
Just trying
feel
to shock you.
as good of
more
a
with
movie as
Yeah.
In the
first
third
one's, I think the first one's a good movie, really. Like,
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's not
enjoy
bad.
it.
The second
Now,
one's kind of stupid, though. There's a scene, I'll never forget this.
Who's
I
the
don't know
fucking
why.
guy in the? He was doing conventions and stuff. He was,
Yeah, that little guy. Yeah.
yeah, really
Little bug-eyed fat dude.
Oh, yeah.
really odd looking fella.
Yeah, I wouldn't have walked up to him.
No,
Now, is there only
He's
two,
scared
or is
to get
there
his
another, is there
autograph.
another one?
There's a third, yeah.
The
I'm
third
not
one's
sure.
crazy. The third one's like a
prob-
really long centipede too.
I
There's a lot
probably
of.
remember
the
it.
final sequence or something like that, right?
Is that the one? Which is the? Which
I
is
think
the
it's
one they
prison,
were in, like
if I
that
remember.
mill building? They were in, like a prison or something. Is that
I
what it was?
think-
Yeah.
I do remember that.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it was. I streamed that one. I didn't buy Human Centipede 3. That was actually kind of hard to find. I had to go get a DVD of it. I have a video store that's still open 30 minutes from me, and I had to go buy the DVD, and they still charged me like $25 for the DVD because they got wise to some of the stuff that's hard to get.
Really?
Well,
So
I think I have a box set, I believe, but on Blu-ray. I'm not sure, but I don't know if they're all in there.
people
I
are
think I
paying
just
money
had
for
the
those.
first one.
Yeah.
I watched the second one. And I'm like, I'm never going to rewatch this.
Wasn't
again.
it black and white too?
It
Like,
was,
yeah.
yeah.
why? Why did they put it in black and white?
Trying to be
It's,
different, I guess,
it's
but
artsy fartsy. That's what they do.
artsy.
There was a guy with an eye patch that was just staring.
Yeah.
That was some other movie.
We're gonna sew people's mouths to butts, but we're gonna do it in black and white.
Right.
Damn
I
it,
like
this
that.
is
This is
We
Because
got
the
it
thing is, like,
integrity.
Just a little bit, you know.
this is great stuff.
You won't know if that's blood or feces or what's coming out of there. Like,
That's
yeah,
great
they can just-
shit, pal.
yeah.
shit, brother.
I could bring this up because I know we had mentioned it before we went live, and this was a pretty big deal back in the day, and that was this Murder Set Pieces. But
Oh, yeah.
this is the one that everybody wanted. That was like really, really hard to get. I don't know if it's still hard to get, but I don't think this has any other release besides these, right? Like it's not on Blu-ray or anything, but this was a pretty big deal, and this has like Tony Todd, Serena Vincent, Gunnar Hansen's like all in this. But this was a pretty big deal when it came out. And this was like around the time like August Underground, Toe Tag were like big things, and this was a big hit. And I had this one on my DVD shelf, and to be honest, I don't remember anything about it. And it's signed. Do you guys remember this at all? It's called Barricade.
I
Never heard of
kind
that.
remember the name, but who directed it?
Let me see.
I think we may have reviewed that back.
It says
in the day.
jasonbeam.com on here though.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Let me see who directed. I can't see on the back.
Andrew Curry is
Is
the
that who it is?
director. Yeah.
What year
But,
was that?
This got to be 2000.
Whoa! It's a WWE film.
No, it can't be. This was like way before.
Okay, I'm looking up Barricade and I'm seeing 2012 Canadian psychological
No,
horror
this is
film.
got to be.
Emo Rose.
VHS Apocalypse says Tim O. Rose.
Okay, the wrong Barricade. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. It says
Timo,
right here,
baby.
Timo
Timo.
Rose.
Tim O. Rose.
This came out. I can't find a date on here. I can't. really see.
2007.
Okay, so it's old.
We
But,
may have reviewed that back in the day. I can't remember.
I had it sitting next to Murder Set Pieces on the shelf, so I assumed it was something very similar at the time.
Murder Set Pieces was pretty controversial at the time because it didn't have like a kid in it that like something happened with a kid. It wasn't really a kid, but the actor looked like a kid, and then some shit like happened. I can't remember exactly.
You know, that brings me to you guys remember Ryan Nicholson, right? He was a great special effects
gutter
guy,
balls and all that.
director,
dude.
and everything. Yeah, Gutter Balls is kind of well known. There's a short, I think it's part of like a anthology that we reviewed very early on the Dead Pit radio show back in the day. The segment's called Torched. Do you remember this, Uncle Bill?
Oh yeah, I never forget it.
Holy shit!
Jesus.
So in this scene, like this, a blowtorch to the nuts, man. It's graphically shown, and it looks real. Like it was probably one of the hardest things that I've ever watched. Like had to watch.
What
So,
what was
alright.
the name of the disc? You know, did it have like a name of like a anthology, or was it?
It was an anthology, I think. Yeah,
The segment
wasn't
was
just that.
torched, but yeah, you can look. You can probably look it up. Right? It was
Shit.
one of the early movies that Ryan Nicholson did.
Garrett, you got to do this double feature, man, for your party this weekend. Double feature is going to be triple feature. Murder set pieces. You watch that. You start off with that. You start light, right? You work your way up to Torched, and then you
finish it off with what?
finish it off. You go right
Serbian film at the end.
right into a
Serbian
Serbian film. Yep.
You'll enjoy yourself.
It's a triple feature. But the only thing I remember about the makeup effects in that was insane because it was a lower budget
Yeah, I'm looking up images of it.
movie.
Damn.
And this was what, 2005, 2006, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was very impressive. It looked real. So
Yeah, the mid 2000s and early 2000s, there was a lot of that kind of, more indie style stuff that was very, very brutal.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell?
he put it down there. I didn't say that.
That is wrong.
Oh, Headless. I actually had that and I sold it for big money on Blu-ray. It was signed by like the cast and stuff. I saw someone mention Headless. But yeah, I sold that for big money. I didn't really care for it that much.
This would have been great. Dusty Rose would have been a good
Running high, baby.
remake of Home Sweet Home.
Shooting PCP into his belly willy.
Ooh, baby.
Oh, the mayor. I have that.
Everybody though, take a moment and post a good double feature for Garrett to watch this weekend.
He said found and Headless. I
Found
sold
and
Headless, but I still have found.
Well, that's a good thing for you. You guys could do like a live watch along or something. That'd be kind of cool because you're all in the same spot.
I know, but it's going to be hard. We have so much to do. That's the problem. We were talking about it tonight, like the schedule.
Well, you're not going to sleep, are you? Because you're only there for a limited time. You got to get all this shit in. Don't sleep.
I know. We're seeing Evil Dead Rise. We're seeing that on Friday, and that's like late. That's like a late show. And we're going to probably try to do a review after it's over. Then Saturday's a busy day, and then we're going to do our show on Saturday night. So yeah, so much to do because the film fest has got like all these movies going on all day long. So,
do you guys have hope for Evil Dead Rise?
I do. I mean, that's one we can talk about really quick. Is Evil Dead 2013 is one of the goriest in like a cool way. Like it's so gory and cool the way they did it. And I absolutely love 2013 Evil Dead. And I think that if they stick to that concept, I have high hopes for this. And I usually rarely go into movies with expectations, but I do kind of have high expectations for this, which when I saw 2013, I had low expectations for that.
Yeah, me too.
Mommy's with the maggots now. Shit. Like what? That's the tagline. I'm just like, that's stupid as hell. But I'm kind of looking forward to it too. But I just think that they're gonna go.
Well, it promises that, so that's got to be at least worth.
It's gonna beat you right off your seat, brother.
Brother.
I come in to be beat off, man.
Jack Frost. I have Each of the Killer. I have that on my list.
Okay, Garrett. What about this one? Because I got Ichi too, but like if I'm going like Asian, then this is the only other one I'm giving anybody except for the guinea pig films. Do you remember this one?
Of course, Versus.
Oh, Versus. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give you Ichi and Versus. I'll raise you those two because I think they're both kind of the same splatter
They are very,
style.
very similar. Yeah.
There's a ton of those though, man. Like there's a lot of like I don't know what the deal is in Japan, but they're fine with gore. Like everything can be gory as fuck over there.
They don't give a
Although
fuck.
the one that I love the most though is Ricky-O.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Please tell me that you've seen this one.
I've seen Ricky-O. Yeah, I have that.
I haven't
You
seen Ricky-O.
Holy shit! That
I
you need to
can't
purchase
remember.
that immediately.
Let me
Like
see.
if you like anything like Asian gore, like crazy kung fu kind of shit, like that's the movie.
The story of Ricky-O?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Ricky Osborne.
Pretty much go on YouTube and look up the highlights of that movie, which is the entire movie basically is just gore clips.
Oh, it looks like it's up my alley.
Yeah.
Michael Sharp just brought up Pervert. I do own that DVD actually. I think it's got like a porn star as like on the front cover.
Ryan, I still have the movie up here. I haven't watched it yet, but I promise I will at some point, sir. Dead or alive. Takashi Miike.
Taka Michinoku.
Teddy Funky. That's the thing too, man. Like the Japanese hardcore scene back in the mid-90s, that was some sick shit too.
Yeah, they weren't fucking around. Stacy, that was another one. It's like a zombie movie that came out that was really
Tokyo Gore Police.
Tokyo Gore Police, dude.
Evil Dead Trap. I like Evil Dead Trap.
Yeah, people keep talking about that. I haven't seen that, but I've heard of it.
You guys remember? I know Uncle Bill bought these, and we watched them once. The necromantic movies.
Oh, dude, I watched those once and was like, yeah, I'm never watching these again.
There's a scene in one of those movies where he's like, I think it's the second one where she just sits around and watches like baby seals get clubbed to death on television.
Yeah. I like the second one better than the first one for sure.
Yeah, that's some inspirational stuff.
I put those movies on when Sydney had some friends from her old job come over one day. And then she was like, Christian, you got to stop. And then the next time they came over, I put on Hate Crime, which was not any better. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, dude, Hate Crime is literally this. It's not gory, but it is worth bringing up. Hate Crime is a found footage movie of this family literally just hanging out at their house on Saturday night. And like these like terrorist guys, like I think the family's Jewish. And these terrorist guys come in the house and they just pillage this family, and it's fucking rough. It's a found footage movie called Hate Crime. Everybody go check that out. But I put that on the last time they were there, and that wasn't any better. So he's like, you have to stop. You have to stop.
Some hors d'oeuvres and then have that on in the background.
Yeah.
She's gonna lock you in this room over here, and then just like say, just stay in here.
Do you guys have a particular movie though when you were a kid that was like the ultimate gory movie that you're like it kind of, when you were into that sort of thing, it kind of got you into the genre a little bit more? The one that I can think of is Return of the Living Dead. I mean, it's one of the more mainstream ones. It's pretty gory.
Yeah. Mine was Texas Chainsaw 2. I vividly remember as a kid watching that and just getting grossed the fuck out. My grandma loved Texas Chainsaw 2 for some reason. That would be the one we would watch. And as a kid, it was brutal when he's whacking LG over the head with the rubber hammer. And then I think doesn't old boy get like completely skinned in the second half of the movie anyway? I guess that is pretty gory when you think about it. LG, yeah.
Yeah. That's a gruesome scene too, where Leatherface takes like the human LG face and puts it on Stretch or whatever. Yeah. I remember that freaking me out when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think Evil Dead was probably the one that got me into that stuff. The first one.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
This one would be the one that got me into it, honestly. Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Zombie!
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was like the most
I love that movie.
Fulci movie though when we were growing up, because I do remember that one being in the video store. The other ones no, but I do remember Zombie. So that was probably like what the most commercially successful one that you did.
I mean, it was really the only one that like was well known in parts unknown around here.
Yeah, I mean that when I first saw that, what stuck me the most obviously was the shark zombie. I couldn't believe it, like growing up and being like, that was just so wild to me because I'd seen that after I'd seen Dawn of the Dead and stuff like that.
Well, and the eyeball,
Eyeball's awesome. Yeah.
yeah, that scene too. And then when the zombie rises as well, like from the cover, like that's freaky. And the shark scene, I mean, that's very creative. Like this was 1979, 1980. I mean, it's kind of goofy, but it's cool too. So.
Yeah, definitly cool.
Well,
We might as well bring these up now.
Go ahead.
Well, this piece of crap first. I'm gonna.
Oh, okay. That's not where I thought we were going.
But we can show the cool one, which is this one. So that's
is that
that's
the steel book?
That's a steel book, yeah.
Did you get the 4K too?
No, I just got this.
What the hell, man?
I don't need the 4K.
I don't have it. I don't have that movie at all.
I hated this one, but I thought the part 2 was good.
I'm not gonna lie though, that scene, the bedroom scene in part 2 was like,
oh yeah,
I had trouble with that. Like I had some fucking trouble watching that scene, man. Like especially like towards the end of it, and it was just really well done. Like I mean, the visual effects and everything in that scene were really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean even the first one, that scene where they cut that girl through the middle or whatever, like that was was pretty brutal. Really brutal.
Yeah, every effect in all those movies is amazing looking. I mean, I get them confused because it's all pretty much a gore reel. Both of those movies are. But there was a huge buzz with the first Terrifier movie, so much so that like I wasn't doing shit online as far as Dead Pit goes. Like, what year was this? Like 2015
or 16. I remember because I had been buying Horror Hounds avidly by that point, and I remember reading about people kept asking that Damien guy, "Hey, we like that clown from All Hallows Eve. We want that clown. We want him. Screw the anthology stuff. We want the clown." So he's like, "Fuck it, I'll make a movie about the clown." And I remember reading about it, and so like, dude, I remember being hyped like a motherfucker for Terrifier. Super hyped.
I think both of those movies though had like great word of mouth, like just groundswell support, like, and the second one did, I'm guessing, a lot better than the first one. But the first one, like, even I noticed it, and I was out of the horror circles quite a bit around this time period, 2017, 2018, whenever the Blu-ray came out, and enough people were talking about it where I was like, fuck it, I've got to get it and check it out. And it was another one that my wife watched with me, and she was like, this is fucking disgusting.
I like them both though, man. And I actually think that Terrifier 2 is actually a really well-made film, even though it's too long. I think it's actually done.
I like the music in it too.
Well, yeah. The first one's just kind of like an exploitation film. Like it doesn't really have a lot to it. But the second one's got like a pretty decent story, background, music, everything.
Yeah, I think that's why I actually enjoyed the second one, is because there was something to it. I feel like the first one, there was just nothing to it. It was just basically like, hey, look at what we can do. We'll chase these girls around for an hour and a half and just do some gore back and forth. And I just kind of felt like it was overhyped. But the second one came out, and I feel like they finally kind of put it all together. And I'm actually kind of excited for the next chapter or sequel or whatever to this, because there's like a story now where before I felt like there really wasn't. But yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they take it. I think this one's supposed to be 3 hours long, though, right? Terrifier 3.
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
That's the only problem I really had with the second one. It's just too damn long.
It was.
I miss 85-minute slasher movies.
It's funny. It's just funny to see these people posting movies that I have on DVD that I haven't looked at in forever. Like Feed 2005. Remember that?
Oh my God. Yeah.
I
forgot about that movie.
I totally forgot about those. And it's just cool to see people bringing up these movies that came out in like those early 2000s that just kind of came and went.
Jericho and Terrifier 2. Yeah, don't go like, get a snack or anything. You'll miss his scene.
Jericho looked horrible in Terrifier 2. Like this was like during like this was like during his bloated phase he had, and he just looks like shit in the movie so much.
He has no part in that movie either. There's no reason for him to be there.
And I think all he does is eat food in it too. He's like he's an orderly that wants like cake and cookies and candy while he's working.
Yeah.
Family Portraits, the Trilogy of America. That sounds familiar, but I don't know. Stuntman might need to elaborate a little bit on that one. Yeah, we kind of mentioned the sadness earlier. That one's insane for sure.
Yeah.
We reviewed that one not too awful long ago, I think.
Hey, what about this one?
What you got?
Y'all remember this one?
I remember it,
Anthropophagus. Yeah.
I remember the cover.
Dude is
The
just
Grim
walking
Reaper.
around like eating his own intestines throughout the whole film, basically.
The Hungry Man.
It's a batshit crazy Italian movie by Joe D'Amato, of all people. It's like Joe D'Amato, Umberto Lenzi, Fulci, Argento are responsible for about like 90% of any of the gore that came out of Italy.
I don't know if anybody is into trauma, but Terror Firmer is pretty fucked up.
It is. Yeah.
I love Terror Firmer.
It's huge into trauma back in the day.
Yeah.
When was the last time that one? I haven't heard of that movie in years.
I got it on Blu-ray.
Oh, is
it's
it on
Blu-ray?
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 Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I cannot fucking wait for those Toxic Avenger 4Ks.
I know. I'm excited for that.
I love those movies.
Look here. This is all you need right here.
Come on.
You need the
Tox
DVD
box?
box.
The Tox box.
Yep.
Damn.
Signed by Lloyd Kaufman, even.
Look at that 7 DVD set right there.
He's
baby.
still
What has it got?
rolling, man.
Is it got
He's like
Crusaders on
78.
there?
Yep.
I want to see what the 4K of the first movie is going to look like.
Well, I mean, it's weird, right? Like with those 16 mils, it's like I thought Texas Chainsaw looked pretty good, but then again, I'm not convinced that Martin wasn't just filmed like absolute dog shit. I can't imagine that Second Sight, whoever they hired to remaster the film or whatever, I can't imagine they butchered it. Like they accidentally fucked up a remaster. That movie had to have just been shot like trash, right? Because Texas Chainsaw looks pretty damn good in 4K. It's not the most impressive thing, but compare that to Martin, it's inexcusable how bad Martin looks.
I mean, you're right in the sense, but I thought the same thing when I was watching. I was like, wow, it really must have looked bad. Like as far as I don't remember it looking that bad, but then when I put the DVD on, I was like, it's not that bad. Like the DVD wasn't really awful looking in the idea of that's what the 4K ended up looking like. I mean, I don't know. I'm really confused about that. Obviously, we know that what they used was it was like a positive instead of a negative. Is that kind of what it was? But
yeah, I think the original negative's lost or something like that. I'd heard.
If that's the case, you really shouldn't be fucking remastering stuff in 4K. If you
It
ain't
should
got
be
the
a
negative.
Blu-ray. Yeah.
They just wanted that fucking a big set to come out so they could make a fortune because it hadn't been ever put out on anything except DVD. But
I mean,
was,
I regret buying it. I wish I would have just got the regular 4K and not the big box. I really do.
I swear to God, man, like, and Garrett can kind of attest to this too. The DVD looks the same, if not maybe slightly better than that.
now, but you wonder though, was the DVD? Did they have was the negative available for that DVD and then has since then been destroyed, which they don't have access to? Like, why? Because again, I would assume that the DVD would have looked awful, but it didn't. And you know what's funny about the Texas Chainsaw? I watched it yesterday. It looks great. Now, I didn't compare it to the Steelbook yet, but it looks really good. But did you guys notice, and someone keeps putting this in my comments, that there's like a screw up with this box?
No.
No.
So-
What is it?
I don't know if they're gonna, but people are complaining. So on the spine, I don't know if you can see it. Look at the eye. The dot above the eye is like over the. It's in the middle of the eye and the N. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah. It's like
Oh,
slightly to
fuck.
the
Are
right.
people complaining about that?
People are like,
Yeah, that's
So people are pissed, I guess, and
Oh,
I
my
don't-
God.
I don't know if they're gonna replace those or what. But
Garrett's OCD will not let him like.
I mean, I
just
don't,
get a little white out and then
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care
Quick
too
fix.
much, to be honest. It's fine, but I mean, if they're gonna start sending out free replacements, I'll take one. But I
I
mean,
heard, now I don't know for a fact, but a couple people told me that the transfers are identical on Dark Sky and Second Sight.
I'm sure they probably are, because it's interesting because this has the same documentary as the Dark Sky one, but it says that the documentary was produced by Second Sight Films. So I don't know, and it also says that this transfer was produced by Second Sight Films. So I don't know if they're the same or not. You know, like why would the same documentary be on both and this one says produced by Second Sight? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the story on that.
So which one should I buy? Because I ain't bought either one of them yet. Somebody tell me. Tell me which one to buy.
Bobby wants to know, would one day you guys would do a collaboration with Nick Adams from The Monster Report, brother?
No, I don't want to do it.
Nasty Nick.
I don't know.
I ain't doing it.
I don't know who he is. I ain't doing it.
I don't know who that is, but
I mean, it's kind of risky because you always you want to know who you're doing a collab with, because somebody can always just stand up and pull their dick out on a live stream, and there you go. You're screwed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've kind of talked about like infant porn, like torture stuff on here. I mean, I don't feel like
if Garrett leaving this up on his channel, boss. I don't know.
It'll be flagged, I'm sure, anyway. So it doesn't matter.
Garrett's so sad. He's like, why do they do this shit all the
Well,
time?
we waited 15 seconds to say fuck in the beginning, so
we did. So there's
should
at least
be good
that.
there.
Aye.
So we got to talk about the big one, though.
Thank you for the super chat, though, Bobby.
I mean,
yeah, you got that rare blue right there. Look at you, buddy.
Which was sold at Walmart.
It really was.
I know.
I got it.
I know.
I mean, to me, that's the best gore film ever made. Like, if you're talking about like
Lionel
stuff that's just hilarious to watch, fun to watch, that doesn't get too serious, but also like the effects are amazing. Like, that's the film.
It's really a comedy. I mean, it's a comedy.
Yeah.
I've never looked at Custard the same way again after that movie.
Yeah.
It
bitch.
This house is infested with vermin. Man, that was when I first saw that movie. I was like so blown away because it just was like there's just enough comedy and gore and it's just and gross out stuff. I just think it just works on all levels. There's other movies that try to kind of imitate that, but I don't think it really comes off as great as this does. What was one? Was it like Cemetery Man that kind of had like a very similar vibe that they tried to go with? Was that the one I'm thinking of?
I think it came out after Dead Alive.
Cemetery Man.
But didn't that kind of have like a element of like comedy to it as well in the same vein?
A little, yeah, but not like it. This is like slapstick, like the Dead Alive. I mean, I remember
like I kick ass for the Lord.
Great
scene. That whole
scene.
There's just so much stuff in this movie, and I cannot wait. Like, I know that Peter Jackson's been working on like the remaster of his horror movies supposedly for years. Man, could you imagine what that movie would look like in 4K?
No, it would be
pretty cool, man. It would look awesome.
I'm a huge fan of Bad Taste too. I mean, both those movies.
Those big butt alien.
Yeah. Where he's just eating out of that guy's head, like with the giant spoon, like throughout the whole.
So good.
And he keeps like having to like tighten that belt because his brain's falling out of the back of his head, which is Peter Jackson like doing that. But it was just amazing.
Watch, we're gonna have to buy a box set. It's gonna be all or nothing with these movies.
Second side will come out with it.
I'll take a box set of all this stuff because it's all still sitting on DVD, more or less, right? All of it.
Those two, yeah, I think, and probably Meet the Feebles as well. I don't think Meet the Feebles has anything either.
Bad Taste hasn't had any sort of release in over 20 years, man. It's like the Anchor Bay DVD, I think.
Yeah.
Is the last one that came out. So hopefully, we'll see some re-releases of those soon. But yeah, the Dead Alive Blu-ray goes for big bucks, I think, still.
It's got to now. I sold mine for I think $80 probably 6 years ago. Thinking because I'm like, oh, this is definitely going to get re-released soon. It's like right around when like Scream Factory was like really going strong, and I was like, oh, they're going to put this out. So I sold it thinking I was like going to make out, but it's still nowhere to be found.
I have the DVDs, all that I have of that one.
That's all I have left.
I got Blockbuster DVD of it.
One that I had to throw up here because it was just, I mean, it's kind of what started what would later be known as torture porn.
Oh.
And I'll give some love to the first Saw movie because it did change horror quite a bit.
Dude, I love Saw.
Yeah. The first two I actually appreciate those movies, but after that, I kind of fell off.
I mean, 3's pretty damn gory with that brain surgery she does. That shit's pretty great.
Oh, that was I actually thought that
gory.
was a pretty good one. Yeah, where he was like locked in that. That was a good one. I always get him confused though. After 2, I get real confused on which one is which.
You know, it's the most painful thing in any of those Saw movies to me. Both of them are in 3. The rack, where that dude's arms and legs get twisted, and the girl who's bare ass naked, and she gets that cold ass water sprayed on her. That shit makes me cringe. How painful that has to be. And then she turns into an icicle.
Yeah,
That shit's painful as fuck. It's not gory, but that's the like worst feeling thing when I watch those movies.
But think about the time though that we were in then, because it was like every October you went to the theater on the first night, like waiting to see like how sick and twisted each one of these things are going to be, and like, everybody's in the theater just waiting for like how brutal these kills are. Like, and that's what that era of horror was like. It was all about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
until Saul turned into like CSI, they started
At the very end,
Then they went after the insurance agencies.
Yeah,
They went after the insurance companies.
You've got mini SD cards in a dick hole. You know, in Saw 5 or Saw 6. Or
His dick hole is going to be a lightning port in the new movie. They got to plug up to him to get the information.
I think that was a lot of the success of those movies, though, was they knew the right time. People wanted to see shit like that in October. And for some reason, a lot of the studios didn't get that. I mean, I guess after the Saw success, they didn't want to try to compete with them. But like this was around the same time period the Halloween movies were coming out in fucking July and August.
No, because nobody wanted to touch October because that was Saw just basically took over that whole month. So it was just that's why we got those other movies on like these weird months, because nobody wanted to go anywhere near it.
It's October. It must be Saw. He wants to play a game again this October.
And the new one's coming out this year.
Saw 10 or Saw X.
Yeah.
So now is Jigsaw not part of and the other one not part of this, or it is? Like, is there 10 plus those, or are those different?
I think it's including those. Right.
Okay. I don't
so.
no idea.
You got Spiral and Jig. Yeah. So
like, is Spiral's technically number 9 and Jigsaw's number 8, or no?
No telling.
I have no idea.
It's so weird. Like 5, 6, and 7, like 4, 5, and 6, they all take place at the same time, and you're just seeing different parts of the world, basically.
Right.
And then the Jigsaw movie. How many goddamn people does this Kramer guy know? It's like, where has this jackass been all these years? Because you find out he was one of the first people that he, I don't know, resuscitated back to he was like a military guy. And it's like the shittiest backstory. They're like just doing some carpentry work in a shed, and the guy just kind of misses one of his swings. And he goes, "Ugh," like he's aggravated. Jigsaw's like,
what?
You're gonna be fine.
What's the guy's name in the trench coat cop guy? I always thought for years it was Eddie Wilson from Eddie and the Cruisers. Michael.
Oh yeah,
but it's not. It's a different guy. He's like a lookalike.
Constantine Morales.
Constantino
or something. Yeah.
It would all like some twist in the end of like Saw 5, 6, 7 or whatever always involved him, and I'm like, okay, what's this? Who is that?
Hoffman, right?
And,
Is that the guy you're talking about?
Yeah.
The detective guy who just keeps showing up in all the later ones.
Yeah, you know that he's like up to no good.
Well, then the Boondock Saints guy was in a bunch, wasn't he? Was he in those?
Shit, I have
not Norman Reedus, the other guy, Patrick
Sean Patrick Flannery, Powder.
Yeah, Costas Mandylor.
Costas Mandylor. Constantine Morales.
That's
whichever. Whatever. Fuck. Regardless,
okay. They do look a lot alike. Michael Perry, I think, is Eddie Wilson's real name. So what else you guys got?
A couple people mentioned this earlier. I think Perry and now Alyssa Milano, Bunny Game and Charlotte's Net. I've never seen any of those.
I have no idea.
I've seen Charlotte's Web.
Yeah, it's the same thing. That's the sequel.
That was scary though. Charlotte's Web.
It's a dark.
That movie fucked me up as a child, Garrett.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Not
Old
really.
Yeller, man.
Anything away, but the spider dies at the end.
I could never watch the end of Old Yeller and not cry.
Remember the yearling? Remember that one? No, nobody yearling fans.
I missed that one.
Is there anything on your list right now that we haven't talked about? The only one we haven't mentioned, City Living Dead. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Reanimator, The Thing. There's a couple on mine.
A lot of those damn Fulci movies are gross just because of the crude ass effects. Like Italian gore, you can't really mistake it for anything. Like it's crude and nasty as shit. The Beyond's great. That scene where I forgot what happens. It's like a nightmare scene. The kid like looks back into the room and the mom's head is on the ground and like that kind of like, what is it? Some kind of venom stuff is just dropping on her face and she's melting. Acid. Yeah. It's so crude. I love the Beyond.
Yeah. The Beyond and See You Living Dead, like the scene with the girl in the car puking her guts up too. She really had pig guts in her fucking mouth back in the day. Now, how'd that smell? Who would do
pennies?
That? Yeah.
For pennies on the dollar.
No, she didn't get anything. He's like, shoving the big guts in your fucking mood.
And
come on. All night here.
The little girl that Christian was talking about towards the end of the Beyond, when they blow her head, I mean, it looks so fake, but still you're like, what the hell? Like her head was made out of like ceramic or something. I don't know.
Ceramic. Yeah. That's what it was.
Ceramics like the.
It's like when in Deadly Friend where Anne Ramsey's head gets exploded by that fucking basketball. I think that is ceramic, actually. That's what it looks like.
I love that.
It's pottery.
Pottery with a wig on.
The only one I have, and I just saw somebody actually mention it on my list, is the Piranha remake, Piranha 3D.
Yeah.
That was pretty freaking gory. I think that's a great remake, that first one. If anybody hasn't checked it out.
I actually like both of those movies.
The second one's fun. It's just a little more hokey. You know, you got like what's his name in it?
David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mitch Buchanan. Yeah, David Hasselhoff.
They were over the top, but the Hatchet movies had some ridiculous gore. John Carl Buechler's intestines got ripped out after he hands Danielle Harris a male like urinal. Here, drink out of this. It's a bad. It's like a hospital urinal.
One of the scenes in the trailer hopping the first Hatchet movie is where he literally rips the guy's like head in two or whatever. And like me and Uncle Bill were hyped as hell when this movie was coming out, and then like it kind of promised to be an 80s slasher movie, but to me it was more or less like a comedy, like a scary movie or something like that.
Yeah, I almost feel like he was trying to parody 80s horror movies by making the dialogue over the top stupid, but I don't know if it really translated like that to people. And I think if I ask people, or if people ask me which one they should do, I say just go watch the second one. I think the second.
I was going to say.
Yeah,
I think the second
Tony
has
Todd got
effects and everything. Yeah,
Tony Todd got it, and he's fucking hysterical as that voodoo guy. Oh man,
could you guys know what Danielle Harris was cooking in that movie?
Oh yeah, her fucking
Botox.
She had fresh Botox shots. She looks like The Rock. My family.
I know, but imagine doing that and not just giving her, be like, hey, maybe we'll take a couple days off before filming because this doesn't look right.
It looks like it was somebody said it looks like it's sentient.
Her hair like over her eyebrows.
Moving around on its own, like around her forehead.
That's always boggled my mind that they would have just kept that in there like that.
It's ridiculous.
Got it perfect.
This is what she did. My family. They're still not. And then that my.
You would think she would have learned her lesson, but no, she's still like Jesus Christ. She doesn't even look like the same person.
She's still good looking though.
Not as good looking.
Nowadays, she's talking about anal bleaching with Scout Taylor Compton all the time.
Give me a pink wink.
Dead Pit After Dark. I'm telling you, that's where it's at. We start talking about all kinds of shit like it.
You know what else is a pretty gory flick was American Mary. Did you guys see that one?
Great. I love that movie.
Oh, the Soska sisters, is that the one?
Yeah, that's a cool movie.
Not seen that one, no.
Great.
Catherine Isabel's in that, so I like her. So yeah,
she looks great in it too. She looks fantastic in that movie.
Have you seen See No Evil 2?
Oh yeah,
the Soska sisters directed that,
and her and Danielle Harris, right?
Catherine Isabel gets on top of Kane as he's supposed to be dead, and she starts making out with Kane.
my God!
Jerry Lawler's on his feet for that part of the movie.
Is Danielle Harris in that one as well with her?
She stars in it. Yeah, she stars.
Okay,
See No Evil 2. See No Evil 2 is the best WWE movie ever made. I don't care what nobody says. That is a fucking good slasher film. It's way better than the first See No Evil.
It is way better. Yeah, it is.
Well, that one was direct to DVD or something, right? Did that one?
Oh yeah.
Came out in theaters.
WWE quickly lost their theatrical distribution after just a few tries.
Remember that whole thing? They like turned it into a storyline though. Like it was like May 19th, and it was like really about it. Like,
Kate's in the ring. Kate's in the ring going,
May 19th.
This
like,
is shittiest promotion.
And it was like the movie. Oh, actually, Scratch Burno made a good one. Laid to Rest was
cool
Robert Hall.
That was a really cool movie. I was really into that when it came out. I should post it online. I bought that damn knife that the Chrome Skull had, which was like it's like a blade, and there's like this jagged blade like on the inside. I bought like a replica of that I have here at the house. It's crazy. That was a cool movie back then.
Favorite wrestler of all time? I think everybody knows what Garrett's is.
Bringing up Oculus.
Of all time is Shawn Michaels.
I thought it was the Warrior.
I would not.
No, the Warrior was my favorite as a kid, but all time I would have to say the Heartbreaker.
Mine would be the Hulkster.
Dean Malenko.
Fuck yeah. Perry Saturn.
Monkey.
Oh shit.
Mid-level remembers May 19th.
Bone sickness, if you will.
Bone Sickness, that was a zombie movie. I think we reviewed that.
We did.
Very low budget zombie movie. It's actually not too bad. Living Dead at Manchester Morgue is a pretty good one too. It's got some good early gore scenes in it. What about Dawn of the Dead? Have we talked about Dawn of the Dead?
No, that was probably like the birth of the modern splatter movie, really.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything else about Dawn of the Dead because I've talked about that film.
Was zombie movies though, like I think Manchester Morgue was a couple of years before Dawn of the Dead. So which zombie movie was the first one that was gory?
I mean, Dawn had some blood, but it wasn't. I wouldn't necessarily say it was gory. I would say Return of the Living Dead was. Those are the ones I remember. Evil Dead, if you consider it zombie movie, but I would say no, it's not.
Well, there's a scene in Manchester Morgue where the zombie rips the girl's titties off or whatever. You guys remember that? The nurse.
I do remember that. Yeah.
What about Buried Alive then?
Yeah, people bringing up zombie. Yeah, we talked about that. Dead Snow. Oh yeah, forgot about
Tucker
that.
and Dale versus Evil.
That was pretty gory. Oh yeah, throw them in the wood chipper.
What about
Day of the Dead's definitely more gory. Yeah, we've talked about most of these guys. So yeah, as far as the list goes, I don't think I have anything else. Yeah, we went through quite a bit. So if anybody else has anything, we will mention it on here. But yeah, we've talked about most of these.
There you go, the Collector. Remember that?
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that people weren't naming a bunch of them that we had no idea what they were. There's a couple here and there, but I thought we were going to be very lost when it came to some of this stuff because, like I said, it's kind of out of my element when you get really deep into it. People talking, a lot of people talking Ricky O.
Yeah,
Eden Lake.
Remember that?
I like that movie. I just watched that
cool.
a month ago.
That was on that. What was that on? What was that like? That DVD line that was part of Extreme or whatever. Dimension Extreme.
Dimension Extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of those back then. What about some of the newer ones like Midsummer and Hereditary's got some crazy shit in it too.
Yeah, I mean they have like their couple scenes, but the ones that they do have are fantastic. Like the You know what else? Like even like House of the Devil had some pretty cool scenes in there.
Oh man, Slither. Yeah.
Classic.
We forgot about that one.
The Feast trilogy. I hadn't thought about that shit in 15 years.
Yep, that's
Henry
gore,
Rollins
though.
in there.
It was what? It was like 3 Feast movies, I think.
Yep.
And they were all kind of gory. I remember, wasn't it the Feast movies where the little people were running around with their dongs flapping in the wind or whatever?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Visually, that was like one of my favorite scenes. Like
They also eat a baby in that movie too. I remember that, like the little creatures.
Christian's pulling some good shit out. What do you got over there?
Well, I'm just looking. I don't have anything.
Yeah, a lot of these ones that people are talking about, we did talk about them earlier, like Green Inferno, and
I wouldn't necessarily suggest the Green Inferno. I don't know.
oh, would I suggest it? I don't know. I think it might be one to be seen once, because I think it's gonna be. It depends on the person. Like, I think Bone Tomahawk. Yeah, we talked about that. That's a great one. Cannibal Holocaust. Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to the cannibal movies, though, definitely check out Cannibal Holocaust first, ahead of Green Inferno, because that's basically a remake, right? I haven't seen Green Inferno. I just know that it's pretty close.
Society was already mentioned, Justin. Yep. Goddamn, what haven't we mentioned? Really?
I don't know.
You know, you could bring up anything like Scanners and any of Cronenberg's stuff. I mean, you could kind of always throw that into a gory type. Yeah. Brood.
The Brood.
I freaking love the Brood.
The movie or the faction?
Demons?
Both.
Oh yeah. Demons. That's one we didn't bring up.
Turistas? What?
No.
What the fuck is that?
Turistas was like during that torture porn era.
That was one of the early Saw ripoffs, I think.
Yeah,
Turistas.
I remember going to see that in the theater and being like, Turistas is awesome.
The guy from Christine directed that movie.
Oh, he did. I know you're talking about the main kid.
What was his name? I can't remember. Mountain of the Cannibal God. Yeah, a lot of those cannibal movies they're all kind of the same.
Were those Wrong Turn movies? I just remember in Wrong Turn 2 when they're having sex and they have the kid in that one, and that was pretty gross.
Was Henry Rollins in part 2?
He's in the best one. Part 2 is my favorite one. Say hello to the missus for me.
Part 2 has the scene too where they split the girl in half and her intestines all out.
I love Wrong Turn 2. I remember getting that at Walmart like the week it was like hit DVD. And I had just started listening to Rollins Band too. So like I was on fucking cloud 9 when that movie came out.
Rollins Band.
Yeah, it's such a
dude, low self-opinion.
Rollins Band.
Low self-opinion was like I had the CD, I was playing it every fucking day going to school. And then so when I saw him in that movie, it was awesome.
That's so funny. Rollins Band was the second CD I ever bought in my whole life. First one was Danzig was the first one, and the second one was Rollins Band with like I'm a liar.
Yeah, it was White. That was the CD. White.
Yeah, cause I'm a liar.
That
was my second CD.
It had
That's
awesome.
on it too.
You guys seen The Rage, the Robert Kurtzman movie?
Yeah, that's the bust I've got back here. Actually, yeah.
I don't know if I've seen The Rage.
You haven't seen The Rage? That's actually like a pretty.
It's a gore movie, yeah, pretty much.
I think I remember the DVD. Is it like did they go to like some house or on a bus or something like that? Is that movie? I kind of think I do have it.
I think oh god, Andrew Divoff is like an evil scientist or something in it.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So that's one that a lot of people haven't seen it, could get a re-release.
The Killer Joe chicken scene gets an honorable mention.
Oh yeah, Killer
Very
Joe,
true.
dude. That's so funny.
Thank you for the super chat, sir. But yeah, I mean, it's been it hasn't been as difficult as I thought, this list. But some people are throwing some stuff that I haven't seen, so I can make a list.
Goriest trauma movies. I think that like Christian was saying, probably like Terra Firma.
I like that Return to Nukem.
Yeah. Lemmy's in it.
Tromeo and Juliet. All the later stuff that came along was actually gory.
Yeah, I love
Now-
Terra Firma. That people need to check that one out. That's a killer movie.
Gestapo's Last Orgy. Subjective perspective collective.
Right.
That one's
I gotta
out.
see Lloyd's been promoting his latest feature, Shakespeare Shitstorm. I gotta see that. Proudly.
Yeah.
Did you get the Return to Nukem High Volume 2? Is that
Yes.
part 2 or 1?
Return to Nukem High, aka Volume 2.
Oh, I thought the first one was great. I bought that, but I haven't watched the second one yet. Is it all right?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Okay.
And there's some cool makeup effect stuff, and Lloyd's in it himself, and he has all kinds of makeup effects on his face. Yeah.
I can remember.
I kind of like some of those Lloyd movies better than those. Like Lloyd's way crazier than Charlie Band. Lloyd literally does not give a flying fuck about anybody, and he's like grandfathered into not being canceled.
Hey Christian,
You know.
do you have those
He's
racist
good.
full moon figures?
I don't have the crack whore doll. It was out of stock when I wanted to get it.
I would ask you about one,
That's
but
a
I'd
shame.
get in trouble if I said.
I know what you're talking about. I saw that movie when it came out.
What is that? What is the movie? Ooga Booga? Is that what it's called?
Ooga booga.
What is that? The movie? Is that the name of it?
That
Yeah,
is the name of it. Yeah.
We
It's
came
terrible.
across that one night, and I was like, "What in the fuck is this real?"
Dude, I hate that that's like what Charlie. It's like he had a good run, right? And he had a few bucks. Paramount was like, here you go, here you go, here you go. And then once that ran up, he was just like, I'm just gonna do whatever I can to stay relevant. Like he just does clickbait. His movies are all clickbait titles and stuff. And now he's doing Slimeball Bolorama 2, which actually wasn't half bad.
It wasn't that
But-
bad.
It's so much of the stuff that he comes up with now. It's 47 minutes long.
Dude,
He
I was
films it
gonna
in
ask
3
you about
days.
that.
Films
All
at
his
the
movies-
warehouse somewhere.
Yeah,
I
his
just
movies are
got-
really cheap.
I just got a Oopsie Daisy 2 or 3 on Blu-ray, and it was like literally like 45 minutes long. And I was like, "What? This is why did we need to put this on Blu-ray?" It was like a short almost.
Because he's trying to keep more content on his site so people stay subscribed, but he also can't spend much money on his movies, so he films his stuff in 4 days. All his movies
Wow.
are shot. They're shot he bought a shitty Cleveland mansion. He bought it. It looks like shit, and he just brings a bunch of like go-go girls in there, and they film some kind of movie for 4 days, and then in 2 weeks it's on the site.
That's so wild, man.
That's-
so
that's-
wild.
That's Full Moon now.
It's crazy to
too.
think what they were.
Well, I mean, even before that, he was one of the first. He was like one of the pioneers of home video.
Dude, he's a
in
legend. He's a fucking legend. I read his book. It's actually right here, and it's really really good. It's called Confessions of a Puppet Master. He took money from the mafia to fund Tourist Trap, and when he didn't pay the money quick enough, they blew up his house. And him and Mita, his first wife, they managed, and they had a kid. They got out the house. They escaped. So now when I watch Tourist Trap, I always know that he basically he was funded by the mafia. And so when he didn't pay, they blew up his fucking house. That's Charlie Band
insane.
for you.
Yo, Chuck Connors running around in fucking masks. Like, about got him killed.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know about this. I didn't know he
I had
was
no
with
idea.
Demi Moore.
Yeah, he fucked Demi Moore.
Wow.
She was in Parasite, so that makes sense. Yeah. Especially in
Yeah.
the early 80s.
Wasn't it her ass on the "I Spit on Your Grave"?
That's her.
artwork, too.
And she actually finally talked about that in her book, which I read, and she had a crazy life. That poor woman. She really fucked up shit happened to her.
But a lot of the genre, like the first genre of videotapes back in, like, I guess what, the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, they were all from Charles Band.
Yeah, Mita Home Entertainment
Yeah.
was him, and he had a Groove Tube. He sold hundreds of thousands of VHSs of that Groove Tube.
Mhm.
Well,
Oh, that's him?
yeah. But
I
he doesn't like to go into detail about what happened, but basically, Joe Wolf I'm sure you guys remember him. He was that guy on one of the Halloween documentaries. He's like, this film, it just continues to sell and sell and sell. It's amazing. That guy. He's like got big old glasses, and something happened. Joe Wolf and Erwin Yablans, they kicked Charlie out of the company, and then they changed it to Media Home Entertainment. And then Charlie started Wizard Video. And then Charlie went and got the rights to release I Spit in Your Grave in America, and then shipped hundreds of thousands of VHSs overseas and sold them all. And the director found out about it, and Charlie settled with him. And after he took the money, he found out that Charlie didn't even give him like a tenth of what he really made overseas on I Spit in Your Grave, and he was completely fucked on the money.
What a crazy life that guy had, huh?
Oh, he's awesome. He's the Paul Heyman of the movie world. That's what he is.
But at the same time, what's crazy is that it seems like he would have a ton of money to actually be able to do some good movies.
Well, he spent it. He's talked all about it. Like when he made in the book. I forgot the exact figure. It was over $20 million he made from Puppet Master on VHS sales. But he said he spent it. Like he was buying flat screen TVs, like giant 55-inch flat screen TVs in 1989, which cost thousands and like he would buy all that shit. He just would spend all his money.
Wow. So it was like burning a hole in his pocket. He didn't keep anything. He
always spent money. So shit like that.
That's wild. I wouldn't mind reading it.
Oh, it's good. It's really good.
So, let's see what we got in the chat here. I Spit on Your Grave starring Ann Ramsey. That would be good.
Yeah.
The Hills Have Eyes remake. Yeah, that one's kind of gory, I guess. It's been a while since I've seen that.
Those makeup effects look fucking stupid now, though.
Well, one of them,
the mutants themselves don't look too good.
the wheelchair Brainiac.
Yes,
it's like head of the family.
It's exactly what I thought. Yep.
I just would have wanted to take a knife and like just stab him in the big ass head and drain him.
It would drain, yeah.
No One Lives from 2012. Now isn't that a WWE movie?
I think it is.
It is. I think it is. That's a good movie too.
Luther,
for a WWE film.
Luther the Geek is a trauma movie too, wasn't it? Back in the day.
Vinegar Syndrome put that out. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get that. Is that out of print or something? Because when I went to go try to get it, I couldn't.
I think it's still in print.
It should be. You just can't get a slipcover probably at this point.
Oh, I'm out then.
Yeah, fuck it.
It's not worth it. You guys going to get the Linnea Quigley horror workout?
Oh, I'm definitely getting it. No question about it. I'm getting it.
Are you going to do that, Garrett? That workout? I mean, there is an actual workout in there.
Maybe I'll do a video doing it.
You got
How's
to.
that?
Chainsaw.
I just wonder how many people are going to bitch about the picture quality on the horror movie workout.
I'm curious to see what the quality is going to be.
It's like, well, it was shot on video, right?
I think so.
I mean, I've watched it's on Tubi. I've watched it on Tubi. It looks like shit. I just wonder if people can be like, man, how do they remaster this?
I pray to God nobody is looking
at those
that
visual vengeance movies too.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, they all look like second generation VHS tapes. The visual vengeance ones, which some of those aren't too bad actually. I don't know if you guys have seen those.
Side note, I found this, and I don't know, is this out in anything other than DVD? The first,
just the second one is the second one. That's it.
Okay,
that's a great disc though. Yeah, you gotta keep that. It's Hamster.
Scheme Factory did the second one. It's limited to 1,500 copies. We'll jump on that. $30.
Do you remember that ABCs of Death? Remember that freaking movie?
Yes.
It was
on Netflix.
Yeah.
That's
and they made a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, guys, I guess as far as the goriest horror movies of all time, I mean, that's the list. New York Ripper, a couple people brought that up. I mean, there is some crazy scenes in that one too.
I love that movie.
Anything Fulci related from like the late 70s, early 80s is they all should probably be on that list. So, but Garrett, I guess this is the last show until you're going to meet up with the Rad Pack in Kansas City, right?
Yeah. I may do like an up all night tomorrow night because I got to figure it out. I got to work all day. Then I'm going to come home and pack and get ready. And my flight, I have to leave at 3 a.m. My flight's at 5 on Friday morning. So I'm considering if I just stay up and then sleep on the plane or whatever, or what. So I may do something tomorrow night. I'm uncertain yet, but if not, yeah, I'll do some stuff with them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I think. So we're still trying to figure out what we're going to do, but it's definitely Saturday night. We're going to do it at live. So make sure you guys subscribe to the Rad Pack YouTube channel, because that's where it's going to be. And then I'm trying to think what we have next week. Next week we have Evil Dead, and then I've got another show with Christian later in the month as well.
Christian, you got stuff
me?
pretty much.
Yeah, we got Breaking Bread, baby.
Yeah. Oh, Breaking Bread.
He's like, look at his calendar there, because you're doing stuff pretty much every day, like a video of some sort, right? What you got coming up?
Dude, I just keep myself busy. I constantly make video. I think I don't make a plan. I'll think, like yesterday, when I was exercising, I was like, what can I do so I can just keep videos going? Then I'd come up with ideas and I just let them rip. But I'm excited. I seem to be the only person excited for Renfield. Like I'm a Nicolas Cage mark. I can't wait to go see Renfield tomorrow. Fuck Evil Dead. I want to go see Nicolas Cage as Dracula. I guess,
he kind of looks like Marilyn Manson though, more than Dracula.
The Beautiful People. Maybe he'll bust into it in the movie.
I'm excited about it because I like the guy that's Renfield. I actually think he's a really good actor too. I like Nicolas Cage, but yeah.
I'm excited, and I like horror comedies. Granted, they're hard to pull off, but I mean, it's gonna be cool to see Nicolas Cage always kind of looked like Dracula to me. He kind of has that Christopher Lee Widow's Peak thing going on.
It's kind of his mainstream return too, right? I mean, he hasn't really had too many theatrical movies as of late, has he?
Not really. Limited with that not everything everywhere at once. The incredible unbearable weight of massive talent, whatever that was. That went to theaters. Mm-hmm. But I'm really excited to go see that tomorrow. So I know I'm gonna review that. Other than that, just the usual stuff. Cool.
So I guess the next big stream that we're doing, though, like Garrett was saying, we're going to do the history of the Evil Dead on home video, which, goddamn, man, I was looking at just the Army of Darkness releases. It is so fucking confusing. Holy shit.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's a great addition, man.
It is a good addition. But it's like just Army of Darkness. There's so many different releases. Just from Anchor Bay, just the Anchor Bay ones.
I've had this since like it came out.
Oh yeah, yep, that was my first one too.
Yeah,
but yeah, it got crazy with the Army of Darkness because remember they had. I don't know if I still have it. Remember that one that director's cut where it looked like it was like in like a bootleg like paper or whatever.
Yeah,
the bootleg cut, like the boomstick edition.
Yeah.
So
many the screwball. No, was it the screwhead edition? Yeah. It's just so many.
It's insane. And they never did do the Book of the Dead for Army of Darkness. Anchor Bay didn't, at least.
They did one overseas, remember? I think you bought it, didn't you?
Yeah, I've got it. I've got to be delicate with it though, because it's like it's dried out, so I can't really touch it too much, but I'll show it on there. But yeah, guys, it's been a fun show. Christian, we appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we can do something again in the future. For sure, because I know we've been on your channel before and everything, so it's always good talking to you.
Right on, absolutely.
All right, but I guess that is it. We appreciate everybody in the chats, and Garrett, have a safe trip.
Oh, thank you guys. Appreciate it. I hate flying, so it's.
Oh, you're flying?
Yeah, I gotta fly.
I wouldn't like that.
What do you plan? I gotta know though. What are you planning on doing once you're there? Like, what's the itinerary?
And what did you tell your wife? I'm curious because you're meeting a girl from the internet.
Oh,
that's a little bit far fetched, I guess.
Yeah. Come on now.
No, we're supposed to So what's interesting is I have a client that I trained for years that lives out there now. So she knows I'm coming. So she's going to pick me up at the airport. My flight gets in Kansas City at 10 a.m. We're going to probably do like breakfast or whatever. And then she's going to bring me to Justin's house. And then Justin and I are going to head down to the city and get our badges and stuff for Panic Film Fest. And then Mel's going to meet up with us probably around noonish or 1. She'll get her badge. And then I know priority 1 for Friday is to see Evil Dead Rise. It's very late, though. It's like a 10:45 show that night. And then we're planning on seeing it and then doing like maybe some kind of review right afterwards, like a spoiler-free, like first thoughts kind of review. We're not sure if we're going to do like a vlog type thing or a sit-down review. We're not sure as far as how that's going to go.
I'll tell you what I would do.
What?
Do it. You remember the old school around the town videos? Do it right after you get out. Hold the
I think
cell
we'll
phone
probably maybe do that just because it's going to be so late that we might just do that. And then Saturday we'll go be at the event all day. I know there's a lot of places in Kansas City that Justin wants to take us as far as food. So we're going to probably do like a big lunch. There's other YouTubers that are going to be there too that want to meet up and do like a lunch or a dinner. So we'll meet up with them as well. And then we have the live show. Oh, then we got Barbara Crampton is going to be there watching From Beyond. So we're going to do that Saturday night. And then we're going to do our live show Saturday night on the Rad Pack YouTube channel about, I think, like 10 o'clock. And then Sunday kind of is going to be the same thing like we did on Saturday, because you go back to the event and there's just films playing all day and you just pick and choose which ones you want to do. There's vendor rooms, there's all this other stuff going on. So it's kind of up in the air once we get there, but we know the big things we want to do is obviously Evil Dead Rise, obviously From Beyond. They've got a lot of like giveaways and stuff, and we just got to make sure to be back for the live shows and all that junk. So I mean, it's kind of up in the air, but we have a decent idea of what we're doing. It's going to be like if you went to a convention or something like that. Same thing. Probably more or less going to be standing in lines half the day or some shit. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
So, yeah, guys, we appreciate everybody again. Christian, Garrett, you guys, we'll talk to you guys again soon. And everybody keep it creepy over at
.com.
Give us the thumbs up.
Kiss my ass.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do.
I want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell.
Hey folks, it's Oak Early Jaws. I might be banned off of YouTube, but that doesn't mean I can get you some great shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. First, we got Steve Benningfield post goes against our community standards in nudity or sexual activity. We got the deadpitch.com shirt. We got Cardboard. We got L Lord. We got Tales from the Dark Side. We got Dead Pit. And we got a Princess Puffin shirt, boss. It doesn't get any fucking better. Brandon had the accident. Oh. But these shirts just get better and better, boss. You gotta go over to shop.deadpit.com and pick you up some shirts right fucking now. What are you fucking waiting for? Do it. Do it now, because Old Curly Jaw said so.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Dead Pit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.